Alright, YouTube, this is JR Juggernaut 1 here. I'm now trying to get up some more videos since I have the time. I'm trying to get up a bunch of, over the course of maybe a day or two, or maybe even one day, whatever. But I'm doing this all now, so you'll see I'm wearing the same outfit. So if you get multiple videos over the course of a few days, this is just to let you know I made them all in one day, just to letting you know. Okay, so in this vid, you're going to see in the title of this vid, I'm calling this vid The Hidden Gems of Hidden Arsenal 6. Because quite frankly, I'm surprised at the lack of discussion involving in this pack. Because while I think the problem with this pack is of how late it was released, in the TCG, not how late I should say, but the time of the year that it's being released, I still like this pack, and it is going to have an impact, at least once the ban list is out, and even now people are already starting to make the decks that are kind of revolved around this, that are being released in this set, or at least being boosted, I should say. But aside from now obviously you have certain archetypes that are being promoted here. There's Vylons, Gishki, they're getting more support. What was it? Gishki, Vylon, Gem Knight's got more of a boost, which was cool. Yeah, it was just overall. You've got some, I guess, sets that archetypes that have potential, but they're not really making a huge impact. Steel Swarm and Lavels. That's it. Those are the other two I was thinking of. Oh, and Gusto. So you've got about 6 archetypes that are being promoted here, and I mean, it's pretty cool. Like I said, I don't know if any of them are actually going to make an impact on this game, or at least in the TCG, but you know, it's cool. It is cool. So I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. But the main reason I talk about this is because, like I said, it's not really getting much attention, and these archetypes, in my opinion, are enough to maybe think, well, these, maybe if someone does something with them, they'll start to see some more play and some success, maybe, yeah. I don't know for sure, but it's also just the fact that I'm noticing just a lack of discussion, and people are noticing just the kind of the cards themselves, the kind of the standalone cards that are really good here, and these are primarily just Xyz monsters that I'm referring to, but they're good, and some people might want to try to make room for them in their extra decks. So I want to talk about them briefly. So the first Xyz that I wanted to talk about is Daigusto Phoenix. You guys probably have heard about this because of its use in the OCG. Daigusto Phoenix is a wind monster, rank 2. 2 level 2 monsters are required, and it's a 1500 attack monster. Its effect is you can detach a material to select one wind monster you control, and that monster can attack twice during the next battle phase. It's a good effect for sure, just because even if he can target himself, but if you're playing like a deck of wind monsters, boom, you've got something great there. It's it's a pretty decent card. Like, the only deck that I see really actually doing anything with it is a deck that's not even out yet, which is the Atlantean, whatever you want to call it, because there's an OTK that basically means that once we get those archetypes, once we get the Atlanteans, this OTK will be legal. So that's not very comforting, but yeah, it is what it is. But Daigusto Phoenix, yeah, level 2. This is a card that would have been seen in Agents, had Agents kind of just, not died before this card was legal, but whatever, what can you do? Otherwise, though, it's pretty damn useful just as a level 2. It's not always better than Gachi Gachi, quite frankly. That's kind of obvious, but it does, having that extra option for something to go into that's more of a offensive card is pretty cool. I just wonder, is there any deck that could play this that will also have a big boss monster that's a wind monster that you can kind of take advantage of the effect? But I digress. The next card I want to talk about, Ivigishki Meadowgeist. This is a card that really should be getting a lot more hype, or at least that's how I see it. This card really would have been better in certain other formats. But right now it's just all right. The problem with a card, unfortunately, we're facing a problem where we're not in a format where it's as heavy on recruiters, or monsters that need to be destroyed and sent to the graveyard for their effects to work. We're not having more stuff like that. Marrowgeist's effect is it's a 2100 rank 4 Xyz monster that lets you, after destroying a monster by battle, after damage calculation, you can send that monster back to the deck, instead of having it go to the graveyard. This can be a pretty nifty effect, but obviously the only real common card that you're going to see this used on is Sangan. Otherwise, it's not really going to do all that much for you, which is a real shame. Still decent, and it does have a lot of potential, and I picked them up now because this card could easily become better later on, so yeah. The next card, probably my favorite one of this entire set, I would say, is, like, this. I think this is the last one I'm going to talk about. Vylon D Sigma. A lot of you have probably heard about this card as well, but it's finally being released. This is the other rank 4 that's just like Shockmaster and Illuminite, in that it requires 3 materials. Just like Shockmaster, though, it's very playable. Basically, the effect of this monster of De Sigma, while unfortunately it lost a lot of its power because of the loss of ignition priority, it is, well, removal in the form of Xyz monsters in a rank 4, no less. If you guys have noticed, we don't have that in any rank 3, rank 4s. This requires 3 materials, but it's still instant removal. It's not, but the best part about this is it's harder to stop. Basically, De Sigma's effect lets it take a monster your opponent controls. It has to be a face-up attack, I think face-up effect monster, if I remember correctly, and I think it has to be in attack mode. It lets you take the monster, sort of equip it as armor, but the only downside to the effect is you don't actually get to keep, you don't actually, like, the monster won't protect you, sadly, which is a real shame. But it's still a good effect because they can't really stop it with something like Stardust Dragon or Forbidden Lance. You know, it's a monster effect. They basically just have to Veiler or respond to the summon of the monster itself and just stop it before it can activate the effect. But like I said, given the fact that it's a very difficult effect to stop unless you have the direct negation for it, you know, I think that's pretty cool, you know, especially, you know, like I said, Stardust, no way, you're not getting around it. But what's also neat about it is that once you use the effect, as long as it has an equipped monster, if it battles a monster with the same attribute as the equipped monster, the monster is immediately destroyed by battle. Is immediately destroyed without damage calculation. Now, what's cool about this is he can use the effect once per turn, but he can have more than one monster equipped. And when he has more than one monster, and when he has the extra monster equipped, well, you know, the more monsters he has equipped, basically he just becomes nearly invincible. What's also neat about this is that if you use this against a deck made up of monsters of the exact same attribute, your opponent's forced to find another way to deal with the monster. Oh, and it's also kind of nifty that you can use this against something like Dark Worlds or Chaos Dragons and take their big boss monster and try to keep it out of the grave. That's pretty neat as well. So I'm a big fan of that, obviously. There's nothing really else to mention about it. Like, the only reason I am really excited for it is because if I do end up playing a Rive Hero beat, then I'm going to make room for this in the extra deck, just like I will with Shockmaster. They're both very good cards, and they're both pretty easy to make, so it only makes sense. Shockmaster you're going to make more often, which I'll get into in another bit, but De Sigma is a card where it's great to have that as an option, so yeah. Alright, so that's pretty much it with this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like if you did, and if you have anything else you want to see, please comment below. I will be getting to another video shortly after this, so I will see you guys around.